The racing line is one of the most popular tools in sim racing, and while it's extremely useful, it's not the fastest way around the track. Learning to drive with it off is a challenge, but I'm here to help. Let's get started. Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well today. My name is PJ and today we'll be learning how to drive without the racing line in F1 2020. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to get good at racing games, I have several guides available. You can subscribe to check them out, but for now, let's get going. The Racing Line Assist is designed to help guide you around a circuit. By drawing a line on the road, it shows you where to place your car. It also changes colour, telling you where to brake and accelerate. When you're starting out or learning a new track, the Racing Line is a very useful tool, and many players leave it on as a handy reference. So why would you want to turn it off then? Like all assists, the Racing Line is primarily there to safely guide you around the track. If you stick to the line and don't explore other ways to approach a corner, you're leaving a lot of time on the table. Also, in many scenarios the racing line is not entirely visible. There may be cars blocking your view, or you're racing in the wet where everything is harder to see. Relying on the racing line too much can lead to bad results when it's suddenly taken away from you. Finally, with the racing line enabled, it's very easy to switch your brain off and almost drive on autopilot, instinctively reacting to the way it bends and changes colour. This is a very dangerous situation to be in, especially when following another car. By racing with the line off, a whole new world opens up to us, but in order to do that, we need to understand a few things about corners. Racing cars are at their fastest when going straight, so when you come to a corner you want to take it as straight as possible, as turning too much will slow you down. The inside line is the shortest distance around a turn. This is theoretically the fastest, however you'll have to slow down quite a lot as the turn is much tighter. The outside line lets you carry more speed as the turn isn't so tight, however you also have a longer distance to travel, ultimately taking you longer to complete. The ideal racing line is one that combines the short distance of an inside line with the high speed of an outside line. This is known as the out-in-out line. As you start on the outside, turn in towards the inside, and exit the corner on the outside again. The easiest way to identify this line is to look at the rumble strips lining each corner. If you aim for these, you'll be on the right path. However, in some scenarios, an alternative approach is required. The out-in-out line will be your go-to for almost every turn on a circuit. However, there are some where you need a different approach to get the best lap time. This is most obvious when the exit of a corner leads onto a long straight. As mentioned before, racing cars are fastest when going straight, and we want to do this wherever possible. If you're faster at the start of a straight, you'll take that advantage all the way down the straight with you. This is where the slow in, fast out line comes into play. For these turns, you want to brake later and also turn in later, tighter too. Your aim should be to straighten out the second half of the corner as much as you can, so that you exit at a higher speed. You'll be slower in the first half of the turn, but the benefits down the straight lead to a faster lap time overall. The key thing that most players struggle with when turning the racing line off is their braking, and knowing where they should slow down for a corner. Fortunately, the track itself provides plenty of clues as to where the ideal braking spot may lie. On most turns you'll come across a series of marker boards, telling you how many meters are left until you reach the corner. These should be your first point of reference, and to begin, brake from most corners when you reach the 100 meter board. The board shouldn't be your only line of reference however, as sometimes you may not be able to see them or they may get destroyed during a race. Keep an eye out for things like where the track surface changes, where signage boards start and end, bridges pass over your head, and more. Avoid using shadows as your reference. These change position depending on what time of day it is, and in the rain you won't see them at all, so it's always important to have a static reference point for each turn. So we know the lines to take and have our reference points for turning and braking, but how do we go faster? We explore the edges of the track that allow us to take turns at higher speeds. Most modern Formula 1 circuits feature relatively flat curbs and tarmac runoff areas, and using some of that extra space allows us to straighten out the corners a bit more and take them at a higher speed. As you go around the track, keep an eye out for places where you can take a wider entry or exit and try them out. If you see an improvement in your lap times, then you know they're worth taking. However, don't stray out too far or you may get penalised. Keep one side of your car within the white lines though and you should be okay. One more tip to identify the best racing lines is hidden away in time trial. When you select a player that is faster than you to be your target, you can examine what lines they took when setting that lap time and where they started braking. Ironically, this is done by drawing a new racing line on the track, but unlike the Racing Line Assist, this line is based on a real player's performance. If they're fast enough, then that line is the perfect line through a turn, and something to keep in mind in your next race. Now that you know how to drive without the racing line, check out the video on the right to drive without traction control, and on the left is another video from the channel. Thanks for watching, subscribe for future guides, and good luck on track.